Okay, so let's look at study guide number 2. A salesperson makes a base salary of $600 per week plus 10% sales commission on sales. Write a linear function to model the salesperson's weekly salary, S of X, for X dollars in sales. Okay, so S of X, the salary. Well, you get $600 a week plus 10% of your sales. That's simple. Okay, now we want to know, evaluate S of 10,000 and interpret the meaning in the context of this problem. So S of 10,000 is simply 600 plus 0.10 times 10,000, which is 600 plus 1,000, which is $1,600. That's the salary. So with commission sales of $10,000, your salary would be $1,600. Okay, write an equation of the line satisfying the given conditions. Write the answer in slope-intercept form. Passes through the point 3, -1, and is perpendicular to this line. The first thing I need to find is the slope of the line. So we'll go ahead and subtract 2x from both sides. Then we'll divide by -3 and get y equals 2/3 x minus 2. My slope for this line is 2/3. So the slope for a line perpendicular to it would be negative reciprocal, -3/2. So then I go to my point slope formula, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I have y minus -1 equals -3/2 times x minus 3. So I have y plus 1 equals -3/2 x plus 9/2. Subtract 1 from both sides, which is 2/2. And I have y equals -3/2 x plus 7/2. Okay, write an equation for a function that has a graph with the given characteristic. We have the parent function, y equals the absolute value of x. We want to shift it 2.7 units to the right. So we do that by subtracting 2.7 inside the absolute value. Then we want to shrink it horizontally by a factor of 1/2. So we again inside x minus 2.7. And then lastly, we want to reflect it across the x-axis. So again, that'll be inside y equals -1/2 x minus 2.7. Okay. A lawn service company charges $80 for each lawn maintenance call. The fixed monthly cost of $720 includes telephone service and depreciation of equipment. The variable costs include labor, gasoline, taxes, and they amount to $56 per lawn. So we want to write a linear cost function representing the monthly cost. We have C of X equals, well, the 720 upfront cost plus 56 times every lawn mowed. That's what it's costing. Our revenue is simply $80 times the number of lawns done. So our profit equal to our revenue minus our cost. Which is 80x minus 720 plus 56x. Distribute the negative, and we have 80x minus 720 minus 56x, which gives me 24x minus 720. That is my profit function. And lastly, if 61 maintenance calls are made for a given month, how much money will the lawn service make or lose? So we're looking at the profit for 61 calls. So it's 24 times 61 minus 720. And 24 times 61 is 1464 minus 720 is a total profit of $744. Okay. Now we're looking at the regression model. The table below shows the average heights Y in inches of girls based on their age X in years. Use data in the table to find the least squares regression line. Round the slope to 2 decimal places, y-intercept to 1 decimal place. So we get our calculator. Hit the stat button. First turn it on. Hit your stat button. And we want to edit our list, so just hit edit. Now you should be up at the top of list 1. Just punch in your ages. 2 enter, 3 enter, 4 enter, and so forth. When you're done with that, scroll right to put in list 2, which would be your 35.00, 38.50, 41.75, and so forth. Once you have that, hit stats again. Now we want to calculate, and we want to calculate LINREG AX plus B. So bring down the number 4 and hit enter. And then depending on your calculator, either hit enter again or go down to calculate. And we should end up with A equals 2.48 rounded to 2 decimal places, and B equals 31.0 rounded to 2 decimal places, which makes our linear regression line equation y equals 2.48 times x plus 31.0. And now we want to use the model to approximate the height of an 11-year-old girl. So again, we're looking at y equals 2.48 times 11 plus 31, which gives us 58.28 inches. All right. Next, we're looking at another graph. We have the graph of function y equals f of x is given. We want to give the graph of y equals f of negative x plus 3. So, remember horizontal or vertical? Go back to that previous problem. What did we do on problem 3? We did horizontal shift, which we don't have. Then we did shrink, which we don't have. Then we did reflection. So first we're going to reflect this. So negative 1, 0 becomes 1, 0. -4, -3 becomes 4, -3. We probably should look at this point here as well. -3, 4 becomes 3, -4. So this is f of -x. Then I need to move it up 3. So we go 1, 2, 3. I go 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And that is my final position. Okay, here, write an equation for the graph below, which has been obtained by carrying out a series of transformations on y equals x squared. So original y equals x squared looks something like this. So what's the first thing I've done? I've moved it to the left 2. So y equals x plus 2 squared. That brings us left 2. Then I need to flip it over the x-axis. I have y equals negative of x plus 2 squared. And that's reflect over x-axis. That's what we're looking for. And this one, there is a typo. This should be positive. Otherwise, it's the same line. So let's look at this. We start with x plus 1. And we're going to start at -2, even though it's not included. And that would give us -1. That's going to be an open circle. Now I need to go less than -2. So -3 gives me -2. -4 gives me -3. So I start at -2, 1, and I put an open circle. Then I have 2 more points here, and that is that part of it. Now for x minus 3, again, -2 is included here. So -2, I have -2 minus 3 is -5. Now I'm going greater, so -1 gives me -4, and 0 gives me -3. Now I'm looking at -2, -5, and that point is included. And then I'm going up like so. Next, we have graph the function. This is a calculator problem. Can't do this without your calculator. Remember to get x cubed. We just hit our x button, our caret button, and our 3. So we key this in, and then we hit graph. And the graph should look something like this. And we're looking for a minimum and a maximum, rounded to 3 decimal places. So here's my minimum. So I hit second trace, and I do minimum. Then I pick a point somewhere over here and hit enter. Then go around and pick a point over here, hit enter again, and hit enter a third time, and to 3 decimal places. My minimum is 2.500, -2.625, both negative. Same thing for the maximum, it's somewhere up here. Pick a point here and here. And it becomes 0.667 and 3.726. And lastly, we did this in class, but we'll look at it again. We're looking at h of -4 plus k of -4. So I look on h, which is blue, and I look at -4, which is right here. It's an open circle, so this is undefined. Okay, now I have h of 4 times k of 4. Okay, h of 4 is right here, -1. K of 4 is 0. I have -1 times 0, which is 0. And lastly, I have k of -2 divided by h of -2. K of -2 is right here at -3. H of -2 is right here at 1. No, we have -3. And that is it. If you have any questions, do feel free to email me over the weekend. As I said in class, uh, email responses may be a little slow, but I will get to you at the earliest opportunity.